what is one assumption about net zero that you may or may not believe is fundamentally flawed?
I think net zero is not necessarily just an environmental strategy, an economic restructuring. The energy transition requires different capital allocation. So it's not only about CSR initiatives, it's about how we reallocate capital accordingly. It's not, and the question is not how to do that to achieve net zero, is what's going to happen if we don't achieve, how much capital we're going to spend if we don't work towards sustainability initiatives.
Yeah. I think there was a recent report from Bloomberg I was reading that we've already spent lost $17 trillion because we haven't mitigated. And this is just continuing to rise as well as our emissions are. So we really need to focus on organizations such as we have then, yourselves and within the CEBC are just so important for driving forward the change on renewables as well. Board level, where sustainability and quarterly reports collide, which one wins? Please say sustainability.
Well, I think it's a fallacy to think that they have to be in conflict. The mission of Positive Zero is, in fact, to marry the dual goals of improving sustainability and improving revenue or lowering costs. So I think we don't need to think about them in conflict. And there are many initiatives, including through Positive Zero, I'm sure through other members of CEBC, where those two goals can exist in harmony.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. And I think the more women that we will bring in onto the boards, I think this, that will kind of change, because a lot of women being naturally nurturing, and we're really trashing men on these podcasts today, but that's not the intention. But it's, you bring in, you bring in emotional intelligence, you bring in sort of a different aspect, so that you make sustainability at the heart, I think, of everything we do, which at the end of the day, this is now the way the world is and the science is going. We can't just look at bankability anyway. It's very important that we look at all aspects. Innovation moving faster than regulations. I think we've kind of touched upon that one. But I'm very interested with your organization being so supported by BlackRock, because I've seen, not just particularly BlackRock, but just, being invested into, because it's not just because it is so bankable and scalable. What about smaller companies that have, great tech, great innovation, but just, finding it really difficult for financing and stuff? Are you willing to have partnerships with smaller companies like this? Can they be brought in to work together?
You bring up the important question of bankability versus innovation. Investors like BlackRock are looking for the predictable, stable returns. We can't innovate in the contractual structure that we require in terms of the take-or-pay model, the compensation on termination, the general risk allocation. We can innovate when it comes to delivery, when it comes to technology that we use. And we are technology agnostic, by the way.
Yeah.
In terms of data management and performance management, that's where innovation can come in. And that's where partnerships with smaller companies who are working on innovative solutions might be very beneficial, mutually beneficial.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing with the, startups. They're usually coming now, especially now with incredible tech solutions. So it's really important, I think, that they get the support that are necessary. So many of them fail along the way with great intentions, but due to lack of finance, I think that's really important.